Where do we all live?
We all live in our home.
Correct. So let's learn more about house. Shall we? Okay, let me start. Our house. You know about ants and honeybees, don't you? Where do they live? Do they live individually or in groups? Ants and bees lead social life. Ants live in anthills and bees in hives. Those are their dwelling places. They live together and do their work with cooperation. Like man is also a social being. He forms groups with his fellow beings and builds his house. Colonies, villages, and towns are formed in this manner. Different regions and different houses. A house gives us protection. It protects us from heat, rain, cold, wild animals, and harmful insects. We use different materials like clay, cement, sand, brick, iron, granite chips, wood, aluminium, glass, and plastics to build houses. Houses in hot region. People living in very hot regions built their houses with mud. The walls are thick. The roof is flat. They have small windows. The thick walls prevent the heat, so the houses are cool to live. A tent house. The Bedouin nomadic tribes live in tent house. These are small in size. They make tents with tarpaulin, the skin of sheep or camel. A stilt house. People living in forests build their houses at higher levels up and above the ground on stilts. This is called stilt house. This is to escape from the attacks by the forest animals and rainwater. A bamboo house. Earthquakes frequently occur in Japan. Therefore, they live in houses built with bamboos. Even if such houses collapse in an earthquake, there will be no loss of life. A mud house. Rajasthan is very hot region. Rainfall is very low. People build their houses with mud. Roofs are covered with thorny bushes. Therefore, the houses are cool. In our state, palm leaves are used as roofs for mud houses. A boat house. Kashmiris on the Dal Lake live in boat house. A skyscraper. People in big cities like Delhi and Mumbai live in skyscrapers because of overpopulation. Even in Hyderabad, 30-storied buildings are being built. A house at the polar region. The polar region is covered with snow. People live in houses built with ice blocks. Such houses are called igloos. They have a narrow passage to enter. The house is covered with animal skin to keep it warm. They light their lamps with oil got from seal. A wooden house. Eskimos. The frigid regions, people build their houses with wooden planks. The floors and walls are covered with wood. Wooden planks prevent cool breezes and to keep the house warm. Electric heaters are used during winter to keep it warm. Some people keep a fireplace to keep the house warm. We learnt about houses in different regions. Now, let us learn about living together. Living together, a bliss. We live together with our family members in our house. Many people around us live with their families in their houses respectively. People living around us are called our neighbors. Neighbors should live happily together. Neighborhood children move as friends. They play together. Sometimes their families go to picnics. These programs give us happiness and enjoyment. People of different religions live around us. Respect one another. Live with peace and ease. Then only we will have happiness, comfort and security. Ants and honeybees, social life. We find ants move in a line when there is some food on the ground in our house. Great unity is observed among ants. They build ant hills in the ground and live in them. There is division of labor among them. Some ants build house, guard them and collect food. Some reproduce and some other take care of the colonies. Likewise, honeybees cannot live alone. They too lead a social life. There is a division of labor among them also. In our society, we can see workers in different occupation. We live together and lead a social life. A friend in need is a friend indeed. It is always important to help others in an emergency time. Now let's learn about emergency services.
Teacher, my father said it's very important to know about the emergency services.
That's right. Local emergency services. In some emergencies, we get some services from certain institutions. Such services are called emergency services. Hospitals, police station, and fire station are some of the important emergency services. The police station. Police protect us from thieves and antisocial elements. They safeguard justice and law. In every mandal headquarters, there is a police station to help and cooperate with people. Traffic police controls traffic and avoid accidents. They help the children and the old to cross the road. They are always ready to help us. The fire station. A fire station is one of the service centers near us. If someone informs about the fire accident, the fire brigade rushes to the spot and extinguishes the fire. The vehicles used by the fire brigade is called the fire engine. It is painted red. It has long hose pipes, ladders, a water tank, and different bad conductors of fire. It rushes to the spot with ringing of the bells. Water is sprayed through hose pipes to put out the fire. They use ladders to climb tall buildings to extinguish fire. Fire brigade men wears non-inflammable dress while extinguishing the fire. The hospital. A hospital is another emergency service center near us. We go to hospital when we are ill. Doctors examine and give us medicines. They give us suggestions for good health. Some people come to the hospital with serious illness. They are admitted and treated by doctors. Nurse looks after these patients throughout day and night. Primary health centers are there in villages. At these centers, doctors treat the villagers. At some places, there are mobile hospitals. Doctors and nurses go to the villages and treat the patients. Birds and animals also need medical aid. Veterinary doctors examine them and give medicines in the veterinary hospital. An ambulance. An ambulance comes if you dial 108 when there is a road accident or emergency case or a fire accident. The first aid facilities are kept in it. It carries the patient immediately to a nearby hospital. The ambulance moves very fast with a siren blowing continuously. Nowadays, an ambulance working with phone numbers 108 is very useful and popular. You can ask for an ambulance from anywhere in our state. We use more electrical items these days. Can anyone name a few?
Fan, light, iron box, etc.
Good job! Now, let us learn about various electrical appliances and their uses. Electrical appliances, their use, precautions. Wear rubber footwear when handling electrical appliances. Do not use any kind of broken electrical appliance. Before doing repairs to the electrical lines and appliances, cut off power supply. Do not insert fingers, things like pencil and pens in the electrical switches and switchboards. Do not allow children to go near the electrical appliances. It is better to use new insulated wire instead of a wire with joints. Do not use loose switches or switches without proper insulation. Alright children, now let us learn about the most basic thing, what a human needs. Can anyone guess what it is?
The air that we breathe is the most important thing a human needs.
The air. In order to be healthy, we must breathe fresh air only. Air is polluted not only by dust, dirt and smoke, but also by harmful microorganisms. Let us know about various diseases which spread in different seasons through air and their prevention. Diseases spread through air. Their prevention. You might have seen people suffering from different diseases in your village. Diseases spread if air, water, and food are polluted. Diseases also spread by coming in contact with the patient and also through insects. The diseases that spread in this way are called communicable diseases. Now, Let us know about the communicable diseases that spread through air. Let us know the symptoms of the disease found in the patient's treatment and prevention. Tuberculosis. Tuberculosis is a common and often deadly infectious disease caused by various strains of mycobacteria, usually Mycobacterium tuberculosis in humans. Tuberculosis usually attacks the lungs but can also affect other parts of the body. It is spread through the air when people who have the disease cough, sneeze or spit. The classic symptoms are a chronic cough with blood-tinged sputum, fever, night sweats and weight loss. Flu. Influenza, commonly referred to as the flu, is an infectious disease caused by RNA viruses that affects birds and mammals. The most common symptoms of the disease are sore throat, fever and coughs. Measles. Measles, also called rubella, is a highly contagious respiratory infection that's caused by a virus. It causes a total body skin rash and flu-like symptoms, including a fever, cough, and running nose. Conjunctivitis. Conjunctivitis, commonly known as pink eye, is an inflammation of the conjunctiva, the clear membrane that covers the white part of the eye and the inner surface of the eyelids. It may make the eyes extremely red and can spread rapidly. It's a fairly common condition and usually causes no long-term eye or vision damage. Diphtheria. Diphtheria is a bacterial infection that spreads easily and occurs quickly. It mainly affects the nose and throat. Children under 5 and adults over 60 years old are particularly at risk for contracting the infection. People living in crowded or unclean conditions and children and adults who don't have up-to-date immunizations are also at risk. A vaccine is a preventive drug given to children at an early age to protect them from diseases. Edward Jenner, a scientist, invented the method of vaccination. Children, tell me why Ram fell down in the classroom.
He slipped, stepping on the water that Raj poured on the floor.
Yes, now let's learn more about the water we drink. Water we drink. Water is the basis of life. Plants and animals cannot live without water. Our ancestors used to walk long distances to get water. They fetched water from canals, tanks, and wells only. In course of time, many changes took place in the availability of water and its resources. In ancient days, choultries, wells, and cool water stalls were set up for the people who travelled long distances. But nowadays, protected water is being supplied through pipes and taps. In the same way, in agriculture also, electric motors and windmills have come in the place of water lift, French wheel and motor. New methods like drop irrigation, sprinkle irrigation are given importance to avoid wastage of water. Dams are constructed and the stored water is used for agriculture and for production of electricity. When water stagnates in our surroundings, mosquitoes and harmful microorganisms grow on it. We get many diseases because of them. Take care that water does not get stagnated in our surroundings. Water resources. Formation of villages. In ancient days, our civilizations developed on the riverbanks, lakes, and the shores of seas. Different villages and cities were developed on the banks of Indus, the Ganges, the Godavari, and the Krishna. Great cities like Delhi, Allahabad, Banaras, Kolkata, Chennai, and Hyderabad have come into existence in such areas only. Our ancestors lived and cultivated near the places where water resources were available. Because of forests, there was timely rainfall. Population was limited. Hence, resources were plenty and there was no scarcity of water. In course of time, deforestation resulted in the use of land for agriculture. Villages and towns grew up due to increase in population. Cultivation was taken up with the help of tanks and wells when no rivers and lakes were available. For household consumption, a well was dug and its water was used. They used to store water in leather bags and pots. In order to meet our needs, we have cut down trees in the forest, which resulted in droughts, drying up of tanks and wells. So, there was scarcity of water. Droughts prevailed. Nowadays, water is brought up from the bottom of the earth by making deep holes. Water is supplied to big towns and cities from nearby rivers and projects through pipeline to meet the water requirement of the people. Are you all ready to know how we use our drinking water? Listen carefully because we are going to learn important usages of water. Utilization of drinking water. Now, utilization of water has increased everywhere. This has resulted in the scarcity of water. Water resources are changed. Now, water has become a commodity. It has become a very valuable thing and made us to use it very carefully. We carry water when we go away from our place. It is being supplied to houses in cans and tankers. Every drop of water we use is valuable and precious. The Gram Panchayat and the municipality supply water after filtration and chlorination. They use electric motors and pumps to draw water from bore wells, reservoirs, and projects for supplying. We use electric motors to fill the overhead tanks from the ground. Drinking water stalls. Chalvendralu. In summer, we see big bamboo pavilion along the roads in villages and towns. Big pots are kept and safe drinking water is given freely to the passerby. They are called drinking water stalls. Chalavendralu. At bus stations and railway stations, cool drinking water is given to the passengers. They are set up either by government or voluntary organizations. It is learned that this tradition was there ever since the rule of Emperor Ashoka. We never know the worth of water till the well is dry. So children, use water wisely.
Sure, teacher, we will follow your words.
Water resources. Crops. About 80% of the surface of the earth is covered by water. Of this, a very small quantum of water is useful to us. A major portion of land is being cultivated with rainwater. We know that timely rains result in good yield. For all the water resources on earth, rain is the basis. It is the rainwater that flows into rivers, tanks, lakes, and inner layers of earth. Trees cool the atmosphere. As a result, the water vapor in the clouds get cooled and gives rain. If we want timely rains, we should grow more trees. When it rains, some amount of rainwater goes deep into the earth. The remaining water flows into canals and rivers. These canals and rivers are blocked and water is stored in very big tanks and reservoirs. Sometimes they overflow and the excess water flows into the sea. Wet crops such as paddy, sugarcane, wheat, vegetables are grown using the water from wells, tanks, and reservoirs. Where these facilities are not available, dry crops like mower, maize, green gram, red gram, cotton, chilies are grown. As the water resources are drying up gradually, nowadays crops are grown using a little water by means of modern methods. Crops. Water. All types of crops are grown seasonally under tanks and reservoirs, but dry land are ploughed and seed are sown only when it rains. The crops sustain and yield food grains only when there are intermittent rains. Otherwise, crops will get dried up. There are many modern methods to grow dry crops with a little water. They are ploughing the land across and sow seeds, constructing check dams, constructing contour bunds, digging water soaking pits. Through these methods, water penetrates into the earth and thereby the underground water level rises. Children, can the farmers water the crops with a bottle of water?
No, teacher, it won't be enough.
So let's learn the ways through which farmers irrigate their crops. Methods of irrigation. Irrigation is done either through wells or bore wells where underground water is plenty. Cultivation is also taken up with the help of tanks. Dams are constructed across the rivers and the stored water is channeled into canals for irrigation. For example, Nagarjuna Sagar Dam is the biggest reservoir in our state. Water is supplied through canal for irrigation. Saving water in irrigation. Areas where water is scarce, farmers must use less water to get good yields. There are some methods to grow crops using very little water. They are pot method, drip method, and sprinkling method. Plants and animals that live in water. Have you ever observed a tank or a pond in a park? We find some plants with beautiful flowers and leaves floating on the water surface. The lotus, water lily, water hyacinth, and mosses are the water plants we generally observe. There are thousands of plants in the sea. Sea animals eat them as food. Fishes live in tanks. Big animals live in the sea. We know that The elephant is the biggest land animal. But in the seas, there are fishes bigger than the elephant. Example, the blue whale and the shark. Flowing water. When it rains, we make paper boats and play with them happily. When floods occur, cars, buses, houses, and roads are swept away because of heavy water flow, resulting in loss of lives and property. Stretch your hand against the water falling from a great height and observe. The hand receives a blow. Look how much power the flowing water has. With that power, water can rotate a wheel. A generator is attached to such a wheel and electricity is produced. Solids and liquids that dissolve in water. Most of us have the habit of drinking tea or milk in the morning. Do you know how tea is prepared? The tea dust is added to the boiled water. The color of water changes. It is called decoction. Milk is added to it. Some sugar is also added for taste. It dissolves and disappears. Among these tea items, milk and water are liquids, whereas sugar and tea dust are solids. Sugar dissolves completely and so does not appear. Tea powder loses its color and remains as a residue. Tea is filtered and the residue is removed. Measuring liquids. How do we measure liquids? They are measured in liters. Standard measuring jars are used to measure them. Milliliter is the least unit to measure liquids. 1000 milliliters make 1 liter. At petrol stations, they are measured in liters with the help of machines. Stagnated water. Effect on environment. Stagnation of water and accumulation of garbage results in the breeding of houseflies and mosquitoes. Most of the diseases are spread through houseflies and mosquitoes. Diseases like malaria, dengue, chikungunya are caused by a mosquito bite. Cholera and typhoid are spread through houseflies. Poor sanitation results in the outbreak of epidemic or diseases. Houseflies and mosquitoes are the carriers of disease causing germs. Have you ever seen mosquitoes lying on the water? Why do they lie there? Female mosquitoes lay eggs on the stagnated water and larva comes out of these eggs. They turn into pupa. Each pupa grows into an imago, which finally turns into an adult mosquito. Mosquito breeding should be controlled to prevent diseases. For this, we have to take up the following measures. Keep your surroundings clean. Tubs, old tires, and old tins must not contain any water. Do not allow water to stagnate in your surroundings. Use mosquito nets while sleeping. Spray insecticides on stagnated water. If water is to be stored, keep a lid on the vessel. I say my car runs on water. Will anyone accept?
No, teacher, the car runs only on fuel.
So let's learn the ways through which farmers irrigate their crops. Travel, fuel. We will be going to the houses of our relatives and friends. We will be going to towns and cities for different purposes. This is called travel. For traveling, we use a bus, a car, an aeroplane, etc. These are called transport vehicles. What do they require to move? They need different fuels. The important fuels are diesel, petrol, and natural gas. Let us know how they are available for us. Fuels. Fuels are available in the deeper layers of the earth. They are in the form of crude oil. The crude oil is refined and converted into different fuels for our use. There are 12 refineries in our country. The refinery at Madura, Uttar Pradesh, is the largest. Petrol is used to run vehicles and produce different chemical products. About 28 million tons of petroleum is produced in our country every year. This is not sufficient for our needs. Therefore, we import petrol and petroleum products from other countries. There are natural gas producing centers in Gujarat, Maharashtra and Andhra Pradesh in our country. Natural gas is used for vehicles, for power generation and also for manufacturing of fertilizers. We are using fuels irresponsibly. We are exhausting them. It is very difficult to reproduce them. We can burn these fuels within no time. But it takes thousands of years for them to form again in the layers of the earth. Therefore, we have to use fuels carefully. We must conserve the resources very carefully. We should also make use of the alternative resources like the solar energy, tidal power, wind power, and biodiesel instead of these natural resources. Measures to use the fuel carefully. It is better to go on foot or by bicycle for short distance travel. It is also good for health. We can save oil if we drive the vehicle at a moderate speed. It is advisable to use a bus or a van for group travel instead of using scooters and motorcycles individually. The topic we are now going to learn is very familiar topic to you all. You all must take care while traveling. Did you guess what the topic is? Yes, road safety is what we are going to learn now. Road safety. We use bicycles, cars, buses, auto rickshaw and motorcycles, etc. for traveling. All these move along roads. We also go on foot. With the increase in populations, traffics on road have increased. The movement of vehicles and people in a given period is called traffic. Accidents take place if people are in a hurry to reach their destination. Traffic jams, road accidents have increased because people violate rules of the road. Many people die in road accidents every day. Some become crippled. We must save ourselves. Therefore, pedestrians and drivers must obey road safety rules. Road rules. Drive vehicles at a controlled speed. Vehicles and pedestrians must keep to the left side of the road. Never run from the rear side of a parking vehicle. Follow traffic signals. Follow the traffic policeman's instructions. When the traffic light is green, you must move forward. When it turns orange, you must get ready. When it is red, you must stop. Do not hold the rear part of a bus or a lorry. Cross the road carefully when vehicles are moving. Be more cautious while crossing the blind turns and move at a less speed. Do not get down from or get into moving vehicle. Do not throw litter on the road. Do not travel standing on the footboard of a bus. Our universe has 9 planets and Earth is?
Earth is the third planet of all those 9 planets.
Right. So, shall we learn more about our own planet? Come on, let's move on. Our Earth. We exist on the Earth. The Earth always moves. We think that the sun travels from east to west every day. But the sun does not move. It remains at one place. The Earth moves from west to east. We move along with the Earth. But we do not know that it moves. Therefore, it appears that the sun is moving and the Earth is stationary. Isn't it a wonderful experience? The Earth has 2 motions. Motion means movement. It rotates on its own axis. It revolves round the sun. The endpoints of the Earth at north and south are called the poles. If we draw an imaginary line through the center of the Earth connecting the north and south poles, it is the axis of the Earth. When the Earth rotates once on its own axis, it is called rotation. It takes 23 hours, 56 minutes and 4 seconds to complete one rotation. You know what a top is? Observe when it rotates. It moves round itself. This motion is called rotation. So also our Earth rotates round itself. This is called the Earth's rotation. While the Earth rotates round itself only, 1/2 of it faces the sun. That half of the Earth receives sunlight. Then there is light on the Earth. The people on this side of the Earth have daytime. The sunlight does not fall on the other half of the Earth. That part becomes dark. The people on this side of the Earth have night time. As the Earth rotates, always it will have day for some time and night for the rest of the time. A night and a day combine to form one full day. One complete rotation of the Earth makes a day. You have just learned that the Earth has its own axis. This axis is inclined at an angle of 23.5 degrees. Hence, we do not find day and night of equal duration every day. There are differences in the duration of day and night every day. Now, tell me who can revolve or rotate for a long time without a break? No one can do it right. But isn't it amazing to know that our Earth revolves and rotates at the same time? Now let us find how it revolves. The revolution. The earth not only rotates around itself, but also moves round the sun. This motion of the earth is called the revolution. The time taken for the earth to rotate round the sun once is considered a year. The complete revolution takes a year. The earth completes one revolution in 365 days, 6 hours and 54 seconds. The path in which the earth revolves round the sun is called the earth's orbit. It is elliptical. The axis of the earth is not perpendicular to the plane of its orbit, but it is inclined at an angle of 23.5 degrees. Revolution. Seasons. Seasons are caused because of Earth's inclination. The eclipses. Our Earth is a planet. The moon is the Earth's satellite. The Earth moves round the sun. The moon moves round the Earth. The sun is self-luminous, but the Earth and the moon are not self-luminous. They receive light from the sun. When the Earth and the moon come in a straight line while revolving in their orbits, eclipses occur. When the Earth comes between the sun and the moon, lunar eclipse occurs. When the moon comes between the sun and Earth, solar eclipse occurs. The lunar eclipse. At a given time, only a half of the Earth's surface is always opposite to the sun, and the other half is in darkness. The dark portion is called umbra, and the part that surrounds umbra is known as penumbra. Only partially the sun rays traverse through the penumbra. Lunar eclipse occurs whenever moon comes into the umbra. Lunar eclipse takes place only on the full moon day, but not on every full moon day. It is because the Earth's orbit and moon's orbit are not one and the same. It is necessary that the sun, the earth, and the moon should be in a straight line for the occurrence of lunar eclipse. The solar eclipse. When the moon comes in between the sun and the earth, the sun is not visible to us. This is known as the solar eclipse. Solar eclipse occurs on the new moon day only. Like lunar eclipse, solar eclipse also need not necessarily always occur on every new moon day. Look at the figure and you will know how solar eclipse occurs. People try to observe solar eclipse. It harms the eyes. One cannot see the lunar eclipse with naked eyes. If you want to see the solar eclipse, try to see through a smoked glass, that too for a short duration. You should not see the solar eclipse for long duration of time. Winter is the most pleasant climate in our country. But still, why do you kids love summer?
It's our vacation time.
Oh yes. Shall we learn about various climate zones? Climate zones. The climate of a place depends on its rainfall and temperature. Based on this fact, the earth is divided into 3 zones. They are the tropical zone, the temperate zone, and the polar zone. The tropical zone. The 23.5 degree latitude on the globe across the equator to the north and south is called the tropical zone. The rays of the sun fall vertically on this region. Therefore, the temperature is high in this region. Rainfall is also heavy. The temperate zone. The 66.5 degree of north latitude on the earth is known as the Arctic Circle, and the 66.5 degree south latitude is known as the Antarctic Circle. The place between the Tropic of Cancer and the Arctic Circle, and the place between the Tropic of Capricorn and Antarctic Circle is called the temperate zone. Temperature, rainfall, and cold conditions are favorable for livelihood for the people to live in this zone. Complexion of the people of this zone is fair. As the climate is cool, one does not get tired. The polar zone. There are 2 points at 90 degrees of north and south. These points are called North Pole and South Pole. The places between the North Pole and the Arctic Circle and the places between the South Pole and the Antarctic Circle are called polar zone. These polar zones are called the frigid zones. The water freezes here. This region is very cold. Most of the earth is always covered with ice, and it is called tundra. Tundra means snow desert. This region is not suitable for human habitat. Therefore, population is sparse. Many places are uninhabited. Never leave that till tomorrow which you can't do today. So children, do not waste your time. There is always a time difference at various parts of the world. Shall we now travel through time? Hold on tight.
Yes, teacher, we are ready for it.
Local time. The earth rotates round itself. It takes 24 hours to complete a single rotation. It means the earth covers a distance of 360 degrees of longitude in 24 hours. The distance between two longitudes is 1 degree. In other words, earth takes 4 minutes to cover a distance of 1 degree longitude. Standard time. A standard time is fixed for every country. This helps to recognize the time. The standard time of a country is fixed as per the longitude that goes through the center of that country. The local time of that longitude is considered as the standard time and recognized all over the country. Greenwich Standard Time. Greenwich Standard Time is followed by all the countries in the world. Greenwich is located in Great Britain on the banks of Thames River in London. Greenwich longitude is nothing but the 0 degree longitude. The Greenwich local time is considered as the standard time of Britain. Indian Standard Time. 82.5 degrees east longitude passes through middle of our country. So, the local time on that longitude is considered as the Indian Standard Time. 82.5 degrees east longitude runs very close to Kakinada in our state. The Indian Standard Time is 5.5 hours ahead of Greenwich Mean Time.